Have you ever noticed how the loudest person in the room is often the most fragile? They wear their confidence like armor, but it's forged from fear, not strength. This isn't courage, it's a performance. And you, like everyone else, are both the actor and the audience in this silent play of deception. What if I told you that the bravery you project, the certainty you cling to, is the most sophisticated lie you've ever told yourself? This isn't about the braggarts or the bullies. This is about the subtle, chilling mechanism inside the human mind that chooses the illusion of strength over the terror of vulnerability. It's a survival instinct gone wrong. We construct a fortress of false confidence to shield our ego from a single, unbearable truth. We are terrified of being seen as weak, as fraudulent, as ordinary. This performance dictates your decisions, poisons your relationships, and keeps you trapped in a gilded cage of your own making. You think you're in control, but your fear is the silent puppeteer. Let's dissect this mechanism. Psychologists call it compensatory narcissism. It's a defense mechanism where an individual, plagued by deep-seated feelings of inadequacy, projects an image of superiority. It's not true self-love. It's a desperate attempt to convince oneself of a value they secretly doubt. Think of the manager who micromanages every detail, not because they're a great leader, but because they fear losing control and being exposed as incompetent. Or consider the friend who constantly offers unsolicited advice, not to help, but to reinforce their own fragile sense of wisdom. This isn't strength. It's the frantic activity of a mind trying to outrun its own shadow. You see it everywhere once you know what to look for. That unshakable certainty is just the mask fear wears to walk among us. In the comments, affirm this with me. I will see beyond the mask of false certainty. The philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli understood this performance perfectly. He wrote, "It is necessary to know how to disguise this nature well, and to be a great hypocrite and a liar. And men are so simple and so obedient to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived." He was speaking of princes, but he was also speaking of you. You are the prince of your own small kingdom, your own life. And to maintain order, to keep the present necessities of your ego at bay, you have become a master of disguise. You deceive others, yes, but your greatest deception is reserved for yourself. You've convinced yourself that your rigid opinions are wisdom, your aggression is passion, and your refusal to yield is integrity. Machiavelli teaches that appearance is power. But what happens when the appearance becomes your only reality? The line between the ruler and the ruled blurs, and you become a slave to the very image you created to be free. Imagine a man who spends his life climbing a colossal, treacherous mountain. He tells everyone and himself that he does it for the thrill, for the conquest. He is the brave one, the adventurer. His friends admire his courage, his family worries but respects his iron will. He posts photos from dizzying heights, his smile wide, exuding a confidence that seems almost superhuman. He becomes a symbol of fearlessness. But one day near the summit, a storm hits. He's trapped in a small crevice, the wind howling like a demon. Alone, in the crushing dark, the performance stops. There is no one to watch. The truth surfaces, raw and ugly. He never loved the climb. He was running. He was running from a quiet life, a desk job he despised, a relationship that felt like a cage. He wasn't climbing toward something. He was fleeing from everything. The mountain wasn't his trophy. It was his hiding place. His bravery was just a synonym for his terror of standing still. And here is the turn. You've been watching this man, perhaps judging him, perhaps pitying him, but look closer. His mountain is your relentless ambition. His storm is your moment of quiet doubt before you fall asleep. His fake smile is your cheerful, "I'm fine," when you're crumbling inside. You have built your own fortress of false bravery. You tell yourself you work 80 hours a week for success, but you're really running from the silence of an empty home. You tell yourself you stay in a loveless relationship for stability, but you're terrified of being alone. You defend your beliefs with aggressive certainty, not because you're passionate, but because the thought that you might be wrong feels like a personal annihilation. Your confidence isn't a beacon, it's a blindfold. You are the man on the mountain. You've just chosen a different landscape for your escape. Let this next affirmation sink in. Write it down. I am not my fears, nor the fortress I build to hide them. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you." Your false confidence is that abyss. You stare into its depths, pretending it is a reflection of your strength, but slowly it consumes you. It demands constant fuel, validation, control, the submission of others. It isolates you. True connection requires vulnerability, the very thing your false bravery is designed to destroy. You end up surrounded by people who admire your mask, not the person suffocating behind it. This is the ultimate paradox. In your desperate attempt to appear strong, you have made yourself profoundly weak, dependent on a fragile illusion that can shatter at any moment. And in the quiet moments, you can feel the cracks forming. Consider the cost of this lifelong performance. It is exhausting. Maintaining the facade, policing your every thought and emotion to ensure no weakness leaks through, drains your life force. It robs you of authenticity, of the simple freedom to be flawed, to be uncertain, to be human. Machiavelli argued for deception as a tool for power, but he was talking about ruling a state, not a soul. When you apply this principle internally, you don't become a prince. You become a tyrant and a prisoner in the same body. The kingdom you rule over is barren, devoid of genuine joy, spontaneity, or peace. You have won control over your image, but you have lost yourself. A final affirmation to carry with you. My worth is not in my performance, but in my presence. So, the next time you feel that surge of defiant confidence, that rigid need to be right, to be seen as unshakable, pause. Ask yourself, what is this armor protecting me from? What deep unspoken fear is fueling this display? Don't look for an answer. Just sit with the question. Let it echo in the hollow chambers of your carefully constructed fortress. The goal is not to tear down the walls overnight. The goal is simply to acknowledge that they are there. To see the lie not as a failing, but as a map pointing you toward the truth you've been running from. The performance is over. The audience has gone home. There is only you and the quiet, terrifying, and ultimately liberating truth. Your real journey doesn't begin when you conquer the mountain. It begins when you admit you were never meant to climb it at all. True strength isn't the absence of fear. It's the courage to finally look it in the eye and stop pretending. The bravest act is not to stand tall in a lie, but to fall to your knees in your own truth. Thank you for joining this reflection. If this resonated, consider following for more journeys into the human condition.